Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle with Creative Operation, and I'm here today to share with you my paper stash smash projects that I did in August. I absolutely had a ball with this one because it is Halloween in August and my favorite holiday, and I just had a ton of fun. So in my previous paper stash smash video, I talked about the paper collections that I was going to use. I added a couple more because I just got really into it and I made a ton of stuff. I really used a lot of my stash, and I even got in my ephemera stash and used a ton of that as well. So this is just a sampling. This isn't even everything that I made. So I just wanted to kind of give you kind of a show of what I did make, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to go through these one at a time, and we're going to talk about what I did. So let's get started. Okay, so first, what I did was I made these two great projects using a Prima paper collection, and I think it was, I don't know when it was, maybe 2021, 2022, I'm not really sure. But anyways, I've had this for a little bit, and I had like partial of everything, and because I've been using it off and on, and I finally like wiped it all out, so I've got it done. So with this paper collection, I did do a couple things. So this was a project by Kim of Kim Can't Stop Crafting, and she did this great ephemera file folder. It's just absolutely adorable, and the little files come out. It's little hanging files, and it's just brilliant how she did it. Made it with straws to keep it in place. She shows you everything. I will link the tutorial down below for you. But I used this beautiful little witch here and enamel dots and the flowers and the little pumpkins that came with the collection. Just totally super cute. So this is actually sitting on my desk, and I think I'm going to keep it up year round, and I'm going to put things like Post-it notes and things like that in it because it's just perfect. And let me pull these file folders out because I decorated them. They're just so cute. They're decorated on the backs, and you can see that I kind of got to the point where I had to piece strips together. But when I did that, even though I did piece them together and use the die cuts, I mean, it just looks absolutely adorable, doesn't it? I mean, isn't this fun? I love how this came out. This is super fun. They're gusseted pockets, and they work great. And then I had these silver straws in my stash. Don't know when I got them, never used them. They worked perfect for this collection. So that was the first thing I did. And then I also made this great little mini album. Made the dangle that goes with it. And let me just show you what this looks like. So this was a recreation of a tutorial that I did that is in 6x6 form. And I have a link down below for that as well. But this turned out really super cute. Since I have so much to show you, I am going to like kind of go over quickly what I did. But this turned out really great. And I do have a tutorial for this one as well. But that used up a lot of my papers as well. So with those two projects, I finally got rid of that particular paper collection out of my stash. So that was the first thing that I did. Then what I did was I attacked these two paper pads that I had. And you can see that we were focusing on 6x6 paper pads. And I do have to admit that the other collection that I used with the Prima paper was not 12x12. I mean, excuse me, it wasn't 6x6. It was a little bit of 12x12 and a little bit of 8x8, but I'm counting it because I smashed it. So this was a 6x6 paper pad. These were both kind of partially used, and I had some sticker embellishments. But the weird thing about this paper pad was that it had like 6x6 paper. So it was like really hard for me to figure out what to do. Well, the first thing that I did figure out was that Project 39 mini albums, Debbie had a shadow box mini album tutorial that I have listed down below. And that's kind of what started the whole thing. So I did kind of the same thing. I had to figure out the dimensions because she used a cut file, I believe. And I did the cover a little bit differently, but I really wanted to incorporate the 6x6 papers. And so I made this shadow box folio and was able to use these kind of weird papers that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with. And then on the inside of this, see, I had a lot of these papers, but I made this really cool shadow box, and then this cute little mini album to go inside. And it's just really simple. I just used, you know, the pattern papers. This one I did like one of those meander albums. So it opens like this. I added a pocket, and I have like a pull out here, and then it opens like this, and then it opens like this. So it kind of keeps going and going and going, and you can see it just kind of has lots of pages. So I did that with this, which was really, really fun. And then when I was going through my stash of like ephemera that I had, a lot of it, like I had stuff that didn't actually go with this paper collection, but it matched. So I had some little like tarot card kind of things, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to pop these in here. And so with one of the 6x6 papers, I made a little envelope to just pop those in, put a little sticker on here, and put that in there. So that was the first thing that I did with this paper pad. And then I decided, well, let's make some cards, because I still had more of this big paper. So I made 6x6 cards. Okay. And I had giant stickers. And like, what do you do with this? So I made some cards, 6x6. This one I just cut around the edges. Had to add some paper here. But these are fun. I need to make envelopes for them. This one here is a it's called the 2 signature panel pamphlet. And I found it on YouTube. It was done back in 2017. And I hope I don't mispronounce his name. It's Jim Escalante. And he talked about doing this. So I wanted to try it. So basically what it is you have 2 pamphlets for like journals, and you bind them together like at the binding. And you can either use a pamphlet stitch or you can use like staples. So I got my heavy duty stapler out and did that. So I wanted to try that technique, but again, trying to use my 6x6 papers. And then I just added some paper that I had. This is just some journal paper that's in craft. I added some stickers on certain pages. Let me see, like here. And then I used my Tim Holtz Decal Edge trimmer to kind of trim the edges. And I added some pattern paper to make some pockets, and like this one here, just a little pamphlet. So it's kind of like a junk journal, but it's a double signature here. And I just really like how it turned out. I think next time I do this, because it got pretty thick with the papers, I think next time I will do the pamphlet stitch. But look at the binding. I mean, it's really pretty smooth. And again, it's 2 pamphlets that are joined here, and I hadn't tried that before. And then I just added this clip with some I got this from Daiso, and I don't even think it's like tulle, it's something else, it's different, but it's fluffy and it was gray and I liked it, so I got that. And then the last thing that I did was I kind of went along with the shadow box theme, and I created a wall hanging here. So I'm going to show you the top, and then I'll kind of go up from there. And it's dark, I'm sorry about that, but I just made the shadow box to fit the 6x6 paper, and then I added some bits here, and then I bound them together with this spider web ribbon that I had. And then that's hanging on my wall. Gosh, the light is terrible. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sure why. I have all my lights on and it's still kind of weird. But anyways, that's what I did with this particular paper pad collection. And this is all I have left. So I'm going to call that done. Can't really figure out what to do because some of the images, like the crow's head's cut off. So what do you do with that? So anyway, I'm going to toss those in the garbage right now. And let me show you the next piece. Now this was a fun little project that I did, and this one I added to my plan. This was Echo Park's Monster Mash, and I had a 6x6 paper pad that had a couple pieces still left, so I decided, you know, I'm going to get rid of it. So it was not a whole paper pad collection, and I did add it into the mix here. But what I did with this one was I found a tutorial by Lene Creates, and I will link that again down below, and she used double-sided 6x6 paper and created these cute little notebooks. And so I made 4 of them total with what I had left over. I had found these cute little pens on Amazon, and they're just teeny tiny little notebook pens for different notebook projects and stuff. So they worked out perfect. So I just clipped them, you know, onto the top of these. And I think, you know, I'm going to give these away for, you know, Halloween. But it opens up like so. with the string closure, and then I did add a little flip to it to use up the paper, but then I used up the ephemera pieces and then made this cute little, you know, notepad. It doesn't have too many notes in it, but just a cute little notepad in the pocket. You could also put like a little gift card in here or money or whatever, but that's, it's a really cute. Isn't that cute? And I was able to use up the rest of the paper. And then on the back, on these, I put another little pocket, and then I just added some of the little cut aparts that were left over in there so I could write a little note or whatever. So I did make 4 of these, and they're all kind of mix and match. So I won't open the other ones up, but isn't that cute? They're just adorable. I just love them. I like the colors, and I like that the pen kind of goes on the top there. So everybody gets a pen and a little notepad, and you can put little goodies in there too. So I did that with that particular paper collection. So I had a lot of the paper pad of the Authentique, and this was done back in 2011. So it was time to get it out of my stash. Like, that's 14 years, guys. I mean, seriously, it was time to use it. So I went to town trying to really use all of this up. I did lots of fun stuff. So let me show you what I did. So let's start off with this really fun journal. So I made a 3 pamphlet journal, and I got the tutorial from, let me check my notes here. Yeah, from Marina Maniotti, I think, and I will link that down below. She used 6x6 papers, so I went ahead and used the 6x6 papers. I did make a hardcover here for it, but it's a junk journal, Halloween style. I did raid my stash for some Tim Holtz items and some stickers and things like that, because this paper collection, I didn't have any ephemera for it whatsoever. But this is bound with some baker's twine. And I just kind of went to town making this cute little junk journal. And I just added, you know, ephemera bits from Tim Holtz, and I'll just flip through really quickly. But each pamphlet or each signature is made of patterned paper. And then I did add some coffee dyed papers as well. I added some ephemera from my stash. I found this paper from the dollar store, so I added that. So just real quick, I'll just flip through. But it has 3 signatures, and there's some pattern papers, and then there's some coffee dyed papers. I did add some doilies in the center. I made some paper clips here, added tags, just whatever I thought would fit in here and look really cool. This was an envelope that I had in my stash that I just put in here. A little clipboard piece that I made a long time ago. I thought that that looked really good, but it's chock full and I love it. So I made that junk journal. I made 9 cards, and these are 3x6 cards, and the inspiration for this was from Biddy Penny. She had these great cards that she made, and I thought, well, I could do that with this paper collection, so I did. Again, I just raided my stash and tried to make these cute little Halloween cards. So I'll just real quick show you those. On the insides, I just put a little piece of this orange paper so I could write something on there, and then just little stickers, but I'll show you the fronts. I did use a lot of recollection stickers here, and the crows, super cute. Had them in my stash forever, and now they're not in my stash. So now I have all these cards. I also had these K & Company. You remember those? Guys, these were from forever ago. I did use some orange paper on the inside of those. So this was a die cut that I had from a swap that I was in, and then some little confetti pieces here. So it made some cute cards, and I was able to kind of get rid of some embellishments here, which was nice. So I made these cards, and again, the inspiration was Biddy Penny. And so there's that. I made this pamphlet journal, and these are 3 signatures that I created, and again with, you know, 3x6 papers. But when I connected them, let me show you. I connected them with another piece of cardstock, and then I glued them on 3 sides so they became a pocket, and that's just what connected the 3 pamphlets. Okay, so that's how I did that. I kind of where's the end of that? So I just made 3 pamphlets and the pamphlets were stapled. And then when I connected them, I connected the pamphlets with this paper. And so I just cut a piece, scored it, and then glued it on 3 sides to create pockets on the inside. And then on the inside, it's just like I did the other junk journal. I just added papers and some stickers and things like that, and tried to use up what was left of my pattern paper. And I used this ribbon to tie it shut. These I got in a swap a long time ago, and then Tim Holtz stuff on the front. So I did that junk journal as well. And then Bitty Penny had another tutorial on an envelope with pockets, and so I created this one, and this was another one of those, actually it was Jolie's, not Kane Company, Jolie's, that I got the puffy stickers from. And I made this. So I'll have the tutorial listed down below as well, but this was also inspired by Bitty Penny, and I'll open it and show you. Random ephemera pieces. But it worked out really well, and I love how it turned out. So the closure is under the sticker, and then it just wraps around like so. And then you have a pocket back here, and you have your little pocket ghost. So there's that. So I did that. And then the last thing that I did with this paper collection was I made some treat bags. And I got these paper bags. These are from Recollections. I've had them in my stash for a while. And I just punched holes in the top and then added the ribbon so I can close it. But I just added 6x6 paper, and then the edge that I cut off the side here is what went at the top. And then I used the ribbon around it just to kind of cover that seam, and then went through my stash. So I had these doilies in my stash. I had all of these Jolie's stickers. So I just went to town decorating them, but I made 4 of these as well. So I'm going to be able to fill these for Halloween. But what a great idea, right? 1 6x6 paper, and then whatever ephemera you want. So I'm thinking Christmas, these would be fun to make for Christmas too. Do little goodies and whatnot. Use up some Christmas stash. Okay, so that's what I did with the Authentique paper pad that I had, along with a lot of ephemera that I pulled from my stash. Another paper collection that I did pull that I was going to use was Blackbird, and this one was by Memory Box. This is another really old one that I've had forever, and decided to use it up. And then I kind of always thought it was Halloween, but when you get to looking at it, it's not really Halloween. So these were not quite, this didn't turn out quite like I was thinking, but I tried to Halloween it up a little bit. So I ended up using a tutorial by Lene Creates called an Easy 6x6 Mini Album Tag Book. And so I did make this, and I used this piece that I got from a swap a long time ago, and then some gems here. This is all bound with seam binding, so it's really super easy to put together. And so I just put the 12x6 papers that are scored at 6 and just tried to create pockets. And these came from the paper collection that I had. I had some extra pieces from Bo Bunny's Wonderfully Wicked, and then I also used some stickers that I had from the Girls Papery back from 2010 called Toil and Trouble, and then I also used some ephemera from Bo Bunny's Wonderfully Wicked, the Noteworthy line that they used to have. So I tried to use them up and tried to Halloween this paper up, because it really, once I got to really looking at it, wasn't really Halloween. So I did go through my stash and grab some pieces to kind of make that happen. Here's that piece from the Noteworthy collection, so I just backed it on some cardstock and then stuck that right in the middle, just to try to Halloween it up a little bit, because, you know, like I said, the paper, it's great and it's black and orange, but it wasn't really kind of like scary enough, I guess. So just tried to do something with that, but it made a really cute album once I got all done. Did some photo mats, some journaling spots, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, because you can see this paper is gorgeous, but it's not super scary, you know. But then when you add the little coffin notes to it, that's kind of a little creepy, right? And then, like, I had things like, you know, labels for scary concoctions. And so, anyways, I tried to make a really cute little spooky album out of that. And then I had some leftovers, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And since it was really pretty paper, I decided to kind of go a little fallish, and I made some 3 by 3 cards. So the pattern paper is 6 by 6. So I just cut them at 3 by 6 and then folded them. So it just makes a simple little note card. And then I use some of the pattern paper to make envelopes. So I did that, and then I punched out of the scraps a little doily. I added some leaves from my stash and some butterflies from my stash. And then on the back, I have a die cut, or dies that look like envelope seals. So I made those to kind of go there. I added a glue dot back here so that when I'm ready, I can seal that up. But then these cards just pop in here like that. So I was able to make 4 of these, and those turned out really pretty, I think. The little card, I kind of tried to pair the floral with the striped ones here. And then I did the kind of crow one with the darker paper here. So that's what I made with this. And then last but not least, I had a lot of fun with another paper collection. I bought this notepad here by Recollections, and it was coffin shaped paper, and it's new this year, so I added it. So it wasn't really a stash buster, but I used it all, so I'm going to count it. And I made some really fun stuff. So with this paper pad, I did end up making a template here because it was easy to use to cut like papers for these 2 notebooks. So I did 2 notebooks. This one I laminated the covers, and I just used my little multi-cinch and did this, and I used some of the papers as dividers like so, and then stickers from my stash, and I just made this really cute notebook. I thought that was fun. So then I ended up making another notebook. This one I bound at the top, and I used a Recollection skull sticker that I had in my stash, and I added some more of that Daiso, whatever it is, to the top. And then this one is just a skinny notepad, and this came because I had some leftovers from cutting some papers. So I thought, well, that's perfect width, and it worked really, really well. So I've got 2 notebooks out of this. But then what I ended up doing was I also made a, I'll show you a couple of them. I ended up making 11 in all with these things. So I made some treat holders. So these were the papers, and I just laid them onto some cardstock, cut the bottoms out. I don't know how to describe this. I hope I took pictures of this. I have a diagram I'll show you. But anyways, they're just really fun. So I made these coffin treat boxes, and I've got them filled. I made 11 of them. So they're all basically the same. I used a really nice piece on the back. Now, some of these are the coffin papers, but some of them I had to pull from my stash to get some papers from the back side. But then when you open it up, so they tie with the ribbon, when you open it up, you've got this little treat box, okay? And then I went through my stash, and like I had these Recollection stickers, and I just put those there so I could write a sentiment on. And then, you guys, I had these lenticular stickers from Michael's that I've had for a long time, and I hope you can see this, but they're the lenticular kind, so it looks normal, and then he turns into a monster, you know? Is it working? I hope it's working. Yeah. So I thought, well, since they're coffins, I needed to put a person in there. So every one of these has a sticker. And then I had these, you know, bones. So I put the bones in the pocket. I also had this, I got this from the spirit store like years ago. And so I decided to put the toe tags in here too. But I could put candy in here, and I know it's twisted, but it's really, really fun. But anyways, I made a bunch of them. You can see I've got a big bin right here of all of the ones that I made. So those are some Halloween treat containers. Now let me show you, I'll show you the diagram that I drew, and I hope I took pictures of the process. I think I did. And if I did, I will put some pictures down here too. But here is what I did. So I didn't do like a full-on tutorial, but I'm gonna show you how I did it. So if you want to make a template for the pattern paper, you're going to need a piece that is 4 inches across by 6 3/8 inch tall. And then what you're going to do is from the 4-inch side, so if you imagine your paper is 4 inches, you're going to go in 7/8 of an inch, make a tick mark, go in from this side 7/8 of an inch, make a tick mark, and then you're going to measure down 1 5/8 inch and make tick marks on both sides. And then that's where you're going to make your angle for your coffin for the top. On the bottom, you're going to do the same thing. Measure in 7/8 of an inch, make a tick, 7/8 of an inch, make a tick, and then go up to this line and then make that angle. And so this will be the pattern paper template. Okay, so I took the pattern paper, and then what I ended up doing was I put it onto a piece of black cardstock, and then I cut this piece here that is 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, and I laid that down at the bottom and to kind of trace on the cardstock. Because let me show you, the pattern paper is glued onto a piece of cardstock, and then you got this extra bit here at the bottom that's going to help create the bottom. So you're going to do that on the front and then also on the back, because the bottom is a double layered piece. And so when I put that, I put the pattern paper down, glued it down, put my little template here, and then drew around and then cut that all out flush. That's how I got the 2 front and back pieces. And then I ended up making a box. And with the box, for the inside, and let me show you that. So this is the box, and it was really easy. It's just a simple box to put together, and it glues on the back of it and on the bottom. So the bottom is really sturdy. And then once I glued that all down, I didn't glue it to the front because I want the front to flap. When I glued it all down, and then I just pinched it at the top to give it that kind of gusset here. I didn't have to do anything other than just pinch it. That was it. So you're going to need a piece that's 6 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I scored all 4 sides at 2 1/4. So 2 1/4, and then turn it, 2 1/4, turn it, 2 1/4, and so on. Okay, and then once you do that, then I cut straight up the middle lines here and here, and then I just mitered those just a little bit, and then just folded it up on itself. So I glued the 2 sides inside these 2. They folded up. So that's how I did it. I hope that makes sense. I didn't do a full-on tutorial with that, but I wanted to show you. So if you want to take a picture, I'll leave that there. Let's make sure you can see it. There. And then there's this page right here. You can take a screenshot of that. And that's kind of how I did it. So if you run into these pads, it makes it really easy because the papers are already cut out, which is fine. But if you want to cut out your own, this is how you would get those dimensions for the pattern paper. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you with that. So those are the projects that I created for this month in August. So now what I need to do is show you what I'm going to do for September. So the month of September, we're going to be focusing on 8 by 8, 6 by 8, and 8.5 by 11 papers. I don't have a lot of that size, so I really have been searching this morning to find papers to use for this. So here is what I ended up coming up with. This was actually a kit that I got from Embellish It. No longer, I believe, doing crops and retreats and things like that, but I bought this. This paper collection was back in 2018, so it was somewhere around then when I got this kit. And it features the Simple Stories I Am collection, and it's a 6 by 8 paper collection. And in the kit, it had the paper pad, it had embellishments with some buttons and things like that. We have bits and pieces. We have the pocket pages, but I don't know where the book is. I don't know if I used it for another project or I just didn't get it or what, but I have the pocket page refills, which I may or may not use. I do have the I Am card pack, chipboard stickers. and the sticker sheet. And you can see it's so old, some of them have actually fallen out and they're actually in the bag. So anyway, I have all of this, and so my plan is that I'm going to smash that. I did also add a few flowers from my stash because I want to get rid of those, and then I found these ribbons that I thought matched the color palette. So I'm going to be using this. So this will be kind of my first little kit that I'm going to use. So the second collection that I'm going to use is this partial collection of Graphic 45 Let It Snow. I wanted to get it out of my stash, so I don't have a lot of the papers left, but I do have some papers, some of the journaling cards, and then I have, you can see, some of the chipboard pieces that I can use. I also did buy a package of the paper flowers from my local craft warehouse that go with it, so I have a full pack of that. And I went through my stash. I picked out these flowers that I thought would look really good with it. I want to get that out of my stash. I got that at Tuesday morning a long time ago. I also found this kind of partial ribbon pack that I thought would go with it, and then I went through my board of ribbons here and I picked out some other ribbon colors that I thought would go with it. So that'll be my second pack that I decide to smash. And then last but not least, I still have to do some Halloween. So I'm going to finish up using this paper collection, and this is actually a full paper pack that I bought from Craft Warehouse quite a little bit ago. It was 2021 when I bought it. So 4 years, I haven't used anything in it, so it's a full paper collection. But I don't have any ephemera, or I don't know why. I didn't buy any chipboard, I didn't buy anything that goes with it. So I went through my stash, I found some ribbon that I thought would look really pretty with it. And then I also have this from the Girls Papery called Toil and Trouble. So I have the black, green, and the purple Halloween themes going on here. And this pack is from 2010, so it is quite a while ago, and it has some lace and some of the ruler ribbon and some orange in there, so it's really pretty. And then I also had this pack from Prima, and I want to say this was 2011, and it has these beautiful kind of crystal flowers, so I thought that would look good with this as well, kind of tie in the fall and pumpkin theme. So I'm gonna pull those together and use those in my September smash. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I'm going to use the Graphic 45 Midnight Tales. I'm going to use the rest of my Let It Snow from Graphic 45, and then I'm going to use the collection from I Am, Simple Stories I Am. So that's what I'm going to be smashing for September. So I will see you again soon. Don't forget to check the links down below for all of the wonderful designers that are in this collaboration. I think it's really fun. We're going to get rid of some stuff out of our stash. We're going to make some beautiful things. You can give them as gifts. You know, if you're into craft fairs, a lot of the stuff that we're doing is great for craft fairs. Super quick, super easy. And it would also, like, if we make cards, you can build your card stash. Like, there's so many things that we're doing with these things that I think you're really going to like. So thanks for watching. Check out the links below. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. All right, bye-bye.